In 1990, Dennis Hopper directed a film that seemed ripped from another era, The Hot Spot, a sultry, slow-burn neo-noir that sizzled with old-school style and contemporary controversy. But behind the film's steamy scenes and noir aesthetics lies a tangled story of last-minute changes, behind-the-scenes drama, and bold decisions that reshaped the final product. And yes, that infamous skinny dipping scene, it wasn't Virginia Madsen at all. And Don Johnson definitely got warned. Let's start with the players. Don Johnson, fresh off his Miami Vice fame, steps into the role of Harry Maddox, a drifter with charm, looks, and a knack for finding trouble. Opposite him is Virginia Madsen as Dolly Harshaw, the sultry, manipulative wife of a used car lot owner dripping with classic femme fatale energy. And then there's Jennifer Connelly as Gloria Harper, the shy, virtuous bookkeeper with secrets of her own, secrets involving blackmail, betrayal, and a forbidden past. But the chaos wasn't just on screen. Originally, The Hot Spot was supposed to be a sleek heist movie penned by Leaving Las Vegas director Mike Figgis. 3 days before shooting, Hopper dropped a bombshell on the cast. They weren't doing Figgis' script anymore. Instead, they'd be filming an adaptation of Charles Williams' 1952 novel, Hell Hath No Fury, an old screenplay intended for Robert Mitchum, unearthed and dusted off by Hopper. The actors, especially Johnson, were stunned. As Johnson later put it, "If I bailed, they didn't have a movie." But he stayed, drawn by the gritty noir vibe and the twisted tale of lust and larceny. And what a tale it is. Harry Maddox drifts into a sun-scorched Texas town and takes a job at Harshaw Motors. He quickly finds himself juggling two very different women. Dolly, who comes on strong and dangerous, and Gloria, whose innocence hides a darker backstory. When Harry discovers the local bank is vulnerable, he orchestrates a fire across the street to draw out the volunteer firemen, all conveniently bank employees, and pulls off a daylight robbery. But his conscience trips him up when he runs into the burning building to save a trapped man, adding a hero's wrinkle to his criminal plot. Then things get complicated. Gloria is being blackmailed by Frank Sutton, a sleazy local with compromising photos of her and her late foster sister Irene. Irene had committed suicide, pushed to the edge by Sutton's threats. Harry, falling for Gloria, tries to save her, but the web tightens when Dolly decides she wants Harry for herself, and she's willing to kill to keep him. When her husband dies mid-coital from a heart attack, coaxed along by Dolly's not-so-innocent intentions, Harry finds himself framed, trapped, and betrayed by both passion and poor judgment. Now let's peel back the curtain. That sultry pond scene where Dolly strips down and runs into the water? Virginia Madsen didn't shoot it. She refused to appear fully nude and insisted on wearing a negligee instead. Her rationale? Full nudity would weaken the story. It didn't let the audience undress her, she explained. Hopper, no stranger to controversy, later admitted she was right. But the skinny dipping sequence needed a stand-in. Enter Heather Cruikshank, a dancer discovered in a strip club who doubled for Madsen. The set was cleared, and Cruikshank brought her boyfriend along for moral support. She reportedly had to shoot the scene 6 times, each requiring full-body makeup. Before filming, Don Johnson made a cheeky comment. "I'm not responsible for what happens when I get in the water." Cruikshank's boyfriend shot back, "Of course, as long as you know I'm not responsible for what happens when you get out." And Jennifer Connelly? Despite the buzz around The Hot Spot featuring her first nude scene, the truth is more nuanced. Connelly did appear topless in a few scenes, but the full frontal shots were handled by a body double named Shelley Baker. Connelly, just 19 at the time of filming, had already faced typecasting pressures and was navigating the fine line between career-making roles and exploitation. This body double switcheroo became one of those classic cinematic bait-and-switch moments. What audiences thought was a bold debut was actually movie magic. Before we continue, a quick shout out to Perfect Fifth. They've got some incredible old-school music-inspired graphic tees, like this VU meter design capturing that perfect analog vibe, or this melting vinyl sunset, a minimalist ode to the golden era of vinyl. And this Star Strings and Stripes, a rock and roll twist that's perfect for the Patriots. And for Golden Throwback viewers, they're giving you an exclusive 20% off with the code Throwback20. Check out the link in the description. Now, back to the video. The production was just as volatile as the characters it portrayed. Hopper described filming in Texas during the hottest, steamiest weather you could imagine. Johnson, meanwhile, wasn't exactly low maintenance. According to Hopper, the actor arrived on set with 2 bodyguards, a personal chef, a trainer, a helicopter pilot, 2 drivers, and his own team for makeup, hair, and wardrobe. And then there was Hopper himself, decked out in a suit every day, trying to recapture the cinematic elegance of noir, while directing what he described as Last Tango in Texas. Casting the film had its own drama. The role of Gloria was almost played by Uma Thurman, and the lead role of Harry was offered to a who's who of 80s A-listers. Kurt Russell, Bruce Willis, Kevin Costner, Harrison Ford, Richard Gere, Dennis Quaid, Tom Selleck, Patrick Swayze. The list goes on. But it landed with Johnson, whose star power was on the wane post-Miami Vice. For Dolly, Hopper considered Melanie Griffith and Teresa Russell before casting Madsen, who'd impressed him in Third Degree Burn. Despite its noir pedigree and sizzling moments, the hot spot flopped at the box office. Premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival, it grossed just $1.2 million domestically, well short of its $13 million budget. Hopper blamed Johnson and Madsen for the film's poor reception, accusing them of refusing to promote the movie. Johnson insisted he was busy shooting Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Madsen, Hopper claimed, was very embarrassed by her on-screen nudity, despite her own efforts to reduce it. But not all was lost. Critics mostly praised the film. Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars, calling it a superior work in an old tradition. Rotten Tomatoes scores it a solid 71%, and the soundtrack, an electric collaboration between Jack Nitzsche, Miles Davis, John Lee Hooker, and Taj Mahal, is widely considered one of the film's standout elements. And that Golden Hawk? It wasn't just a cool ride. The 1957 Studebaker became a symbol of the film's throwback style, a rolling metaphor for the movie's connection to the past. Hopper adored the car and made it a centerpiece. As he said, not a lot changes in a small town in Texas. In the end, the real twist in the hot spot wasn't in the plot. It was in how the actors shaped their roles. Madsen took a stand and reshaped her character's sexuality. Connelly avoided being exploited in what could have been a career-altering scene. And Hopper, for all his chaos and contradictions, respected those choices. The movie might be remembered for its heat, but its real legacy is in the choices its stars made behind the scenes. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think? Did Virginia Madsen and Jennifer Connelly make the right calls by pushing back on nudity, or did it undercut the movie's seductive noir appeal? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below.